Peter Molyneux is back, and I couldn't be more thrilled. I, for one, have a lot of love for Peter Molyneux. I know the typical consensus is that he's, a pathological liar that gets carried away with his own ideas and then overpromises, underdelivers, and causes loads of problems, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. It doesn't really cause that many problems. Most of it's just corporate nonsense. Yes, maybe crowdfunding when you've got that sort of reputation isn't the best way to go. The way that the God of Gods prize winner was handled wasn't great. But that's probably, at least for me, feels like the most egregious one. The other stuff, I have to forgive. Not that it's for me to forgive, I honestly flat out don't care. Well, I love the guy. I think he's great, and I'm really happy to see him back, and I'm really happy to see him excited in what he's working on, doing something for PC. The mobile games were a little bit weird. Trail, I tried to play a little bit of that. I didn't fully understand it. Goddess, I've tried a couple of different iterations of that, and I don't think there's anything there to understand. But truth be told, I've not really played that many of Peter's games. Other than Fable and Fable Lost Chapters, which I loved, by the way. I hadn't played anything that came before. At the time when I played Fable, I didn't know who made it. I just liked the game. And still didn't know who he was when I faced the disappointment of Fable 2 and of Fable 3. And to be honest, he's not actually made anything that I've cared about since. Now I know who he is, and I've looked back and oh yeah, Black and White, I remember hearing about that. Oh yeah, Dungeon Keeper, I remember my dad's mate telling me about this game that he loved because it flipped the script and let you play as the bad guy. Heroes would invade your dungeon, you had to set traps. He immersed in the fantasy that Dungeon Keeper was supposed to sell. Then I found out that he was, made these god games, and found out about Populous, and then learned his story of basically just sort of playing around and making something to just fill floppy disks, to sell floppy disks. And that's effectively what he did. He just sort of was playing around and just sort of stumbled upon this game, not so much because of what he was trying to do, but more because of creating, just be willing to work around where he'd found himself. I believe he's quoted saying that he couldn't figure out how to change the ground or something, or he couldn't get the people to walk in the path that he wanted, so he just made it a game about manipulating the ground and having them, or something like that. You'd have to find the exact, it'll be well documented, loads of Peter Molyneux stuff. His Theme Park World, I actually spent a lot of time with that. I believe that was Peter Molyneux as well. But yeah, in terms of his games, I barely played them. Syndicate, I love the idea of Syndicate. I'd love to see something done with that, or at least some form of, spiritual successor to come along and do a modern take of what Syndicate was sort of pointing itself at. I did try playing, I think it might have been a PS1 version of Syndicate, but they'd gone in a different direction with it to the PC release, which was quite a bit beforehand. I think it might have been Syndicate Wars that I tried, which ended up basically just being a different type of game. But I like Peter Molyneux. I would much rather a guy get overexcited and zealous and sort of be willing to talk openly and throw all of, his ambition and dreams and such just into the open. I want a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve when he's talking about video games, because the reality is they're not supposed to be, we don't go into them for the mechanics. We go into them for the theme, we go into them for the feeling, and that is at the forefront of Peter Molyneux's mind when he's developing a game. He's not thinking about, balancing the equations of bloody, the numbers so that it's all a balanced experience. He's just trying to make something that you can immerse yourself in and have some enjoyment within a world. And that's admirable. That's aspirational. He's there. He's doing exactly what it is people should be doing. Living his best creative life. Going on as long as the old heart will tick. Yeah, that's been my rambly little bit of a talk about Peter Molyneux that I just wanted to get out into the world. I did have a script for this, believe it or not, but I'm recording on my phone and I wrote the script on my phone, so I just had to try and remember roughly what it was that I had in my head, and it's come out all in a different sort of order and emotional beat and tone and stuff to what I thought I'd do. That's fine. That's okay. I don't have to fulfill promises I make to myself. Especially when I didn't really make one properly. Yeah, Peter Molyneux, pretty good guy.